With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 350 plus undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
I'm Indy Neidell.
And I'm Berns.
And this is the Baseball History Time Machine.
It's not just for breakfast anymore.
For those of you out there for whom that makes no sense, that's what they used to say on orange juice commercials back in the day when I was young. Yeah.
But how was orange juice ever just for breakfast anyway?
Is that what we're going to talk about today?
Did you have a better idea?
Well, I had a nebulous sort of idea that maybe we talk about something baseball related, but I'm easy.
I mean, baseball sounds good. What do you got for us today?
Since we talked about Sunday Teddy Lions last time, I thought I'd do another pitcher-related episode. And why not talk about the least hittable pitch of all time, the Emery ball?
I mean, those are very strong words. I mean, a Nolan Ryan fastball was pretty unhittable.
I'm not talking about a pitch thrown by a single pitcher. I'm talking about a pitch that can make a major league star out of a pitcher that does not even belong in the majors without it. And that pitch is the Emery ball.
Was it really that impressive?
The Emery ball was the first pitch to be banned. 5 years before spitballs, shine balls, and other pitches that either put a substance on the ball or defaced it in some way were banned. So yeah, it was. I'm not going to talk about it the way people usually do, though, which is from the beginning with Russ Ford, the guy who discovered it. And I say discovered, not invented, because that is how it came about. But I will get to that later.
How are you going to talk about it then?
From just after it was banned by the American League, just after the 1914 season, and a few months before the National League and the Federal League followed suit.
Why there?
The Dayton Daily News from Sunday, November 8th, 1914, has a really good article about it that I thought I'd begin with.
Okay, what's the article called?
Oh, okay, here's the name of the article.
Okay.
It's a bit unwieldy, but the article is called Back in 1910, Russ Ford discovered the Emery ball, detected this season by Billy Evans. Now, this is a bit untrue because Ford discovered it a few years before his major league debut in 1910, but still. Now, since the article says at the end that it was by W.G. Evans, and from that and its content, I can only assume they mean Hall of Fame umpire Billy Evans. Okay. Evans was the youngest umpire in Major League history, actually, when he began work at age 22 in 1906.
Wow. That's pretty impressive. Is he still the youngest?
As far as I'm aware, he is. And that is what a Google search will tell you anyway.
Tell me a bit about Billy Evans then.
Sidetrack before I've said anything about the newspaper article.
Sure.
Yeah,
I'm interested. Sure. You've piqued my curiosity.
Okay, sure. Billy Evans. He grew up in Youngstown, Ohio, and as a teen was with the Youngstown Spiders, named in honor of the Cleveland Spiders.
They were named in honor of the worst team of all time.
Well, I'm pretty sure this was before 1899, when Cleveland still had stars like Cy Young, Bobby Wallace, Jesse Burkett.
Okay, fair enough. Those are some pretty hot names in there.
They are. And for those of you out there who might not understand what Berns meant by worst team of all time, the 1899 Cleveland Spiders had a record of 20 wins and 134 losses, which came about for a specific reason, though, and which I will absolutely not sidetrack into today, since it's a great story and will take me at least half an hour to talk about, and I will save it for another time.
Okay, I accept that. So more about Billy Evans?
Right. Evans went to college. He played baseball at college. He was even coached by Huey Jennings, actually, whose playing career was nearly over and whose managing career had yet to begin.
But didn't he manage the Tigers all like those few years later?
Yeah, that was him with Cobb and everybody in the 3 World Series. Evans' father suddenly died. So the 18-year-old Billy Evans left college to find work, which he did as a sports reporter for a Youngstown paper. Now, he was covering a game by the local team a while later when the manager asked him if he would fill in because they didn't have an umpire for some reason that day. Thing is, he was not only covering the game, he also happened to be on a date. Now, that is according to his obituary.
Wow.
And he was not interested in the umpire offer until the manager said he'd get $15 for umpiring the game. And that was roughly his whole week's salary for sports reporting.
Funny how some people start their careers, I guess.
It really is. The president of the league liked what he saw and offered Evans a full-time job. And hey, you know what the league president's name was?
What was it?
Charlie Morton.
No way. There's no way.
It's true.
What?
It's true. Yeah, this Charlie Morton had been a footnote of a player back in the 1880s with the American Association, unlike the modern Charlie Morton, whom you and I both love and respect.
Absolutely. He's the man.
Well, the old one, now league president, gave Evans his start umpiring, and then he got a huge boost from another Ohio hero, Jimmy MacAleer.
Do I know that name? It sounds familiar, at least.
MacAleer was the brilliant fielding, mediocre hitting shortstop for the great Spiders teams of the mid-1890s. He was then the first manager of the American League Cleveland franchise, today's Guardians, in 1901. Now, the National League folded the Spiders in 1900, so there was a baseball vacuum in Cleveland that the new Major League took advantage of. Then, in 1901, the new Milwaukee American League franchise was really struggling. So AL president Ban Johnson moved it to St. Louis to compete with the Cardinals for 1902. And they named the team the Browns after the Cardinals' old name from the 1880s when they were the best team in baseball.
I mean, this seems very, very complicated.
It does
a bit convoluted.
When I say it like that, it's really complicated.
It's just like I need like a wire on a wall map to trace everything that's going on.
You need your suspect for it.
Exactly.
But it was a real war until 1903 between the leagues. MacAleer was asked to manage these 1902 Browns, right? He poured a lot of gasoline on the interleague war by convincing no fewer than 7 Cardinals to jump to the Browns.
7?
7, including Burkett and Wallace, Hall of Famers, who played for St. Louis after Cleveland. Now, this wrecked the Cardinals so badly that they never finished higher than 5th again until 1914.
Jeez, how did things go for the new Browns in that case?
I will tell you in just a minute.
My dad sent me some research, and we can maybe use this for a short or something. He looked into the whole Vander Meer controversy. Controversy is maybe the wrong word, but he said, thanks for the mention when we spoke about Johnny Vander Meer on the podcast, and he's like, it actually piqued his interest, and he went and did some research.
That's great.
But most of the Dutch people that went to the US was from Friesland.
Okay.
Right? And they were actually Van der Meer. And then the Van der Merwes, which is my surname, they all came to South Africa.
Okay.
In the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, and so forth. Yeah. And the Van der Merwe, and at some point it was changed to Van der Merwede, and then it was changed back because they're all from Rotterdam.
Right.
Which is it has a river that divides the whole thing. So he does say that they do say that some of the Van der Meer names were changed by immigration to make it a bit more easier to spell, but just because they struggled with the spelling.
Okay,
so they made it one word instead of
Meer,
so it became one thing instead of two. You know, but Johnny's dad was already a born Vander Meer at that point.
Okay,
so there's no relation, unfortunately.
You know,
sadly for me,
I knew,
there's no relation.
I knew a girl, an American girl in the mid-90s whose last name was Zbailey. Like Bailey, Bailey, but with the Z in front of it. And you know that had to be something from Ellis Island. Somebody comes in from Poland, and this guy goes, "Hey, Bailey, can you read this?" Yeah, sure. This is Bailey. That's your name.
It's funny how far American society has come in terms of Polish immigrants.
Yeah.
Because if you look at iconic episode of The Wire where it's what's that kid's name? Oh, he's Presbeluski. And you look at it spelled out, you're like, my God, that's like a router password.
I remember we have Mr. Majeski who managed the supermarket that I worked at
Okay.
Before I was old enough to work, but I needed money for comic books and baseball cards. But his name was spelled Masajawash, but he was Majeski.
Okay.
So.
Right.
Okay, well, carrying on. The new St. Louis Browns finished second in the AL in 1902, 5 games behind the A's, and they would have very likely won the pennant had not the A's brought up Rube Waddell mid-season.
The Rube.
Was
he that big deal for the A's that season?
You know, it literally does not get bigger. Rube pitched the first few months of the 1902 season in the California League for the Los Angeles Lulus.
Please bring that name back.
Why don't you start calling the Dodgers the Lulus?
Yeah, 100%.
So
because
everybody out there, there's your homework. Rube, had a couple years of major league experience under his belt. But though his talent was undeniable, he drove his managers crazy to the point they didn't think he was worth the trouble, so he was playing in the minors. But Connie Mack, manager of the A's, did think he was worth the trouble.
Are you going to tell me now how worth it he actually was?
Rube Waddell pitched his first game for the A's on June 26, with just 87 games remaining in the schedule, and the A's 2 games above 500. He finished the season 24-7. He led the league in strikeouts with 210, which was 50 more than second-place Cy Young, who pitched 108 more innings than Rube.
Wait. He went 24-7 in just 3 months of the season?
The last 3 months, yeah. And this was the first of 6 straight seasons leading the league in strikeouts, including setting the American League record of 349 in 1904.
Wow.
But this is not the day to talk about the Rube.
I hope the day comes soon. It will be Rube Day.
It will be Rube Day, but I got to get back to Jimmy MacAleer, to get back to Billy Evans, to get back to that article about the Emery ball.
Oh yeah, we were going to talk about the Emery ball, and
yes.
we've not spoken about it.
Yes,
at
we
all.
were. We were hopefully going to talk about the Emery ball. Anyhow, the new Browns under MacAleer finished 5 games behind the A's, mainly because of the Rube's pitching for the A's, and the Browns instantly become the most popular St. Louis team, which they remained for many years. I just wanted to give you a little detail about Jimmy MacAleer.
For which I, and probably everybody listening, thanks you.
But here is another very important detail. MacAleer was from Youngstown, Ohio.
Like Billy Evans.
Like Billy Evans. And he was impressed enough with Evans' umpiring that he recommended him to Ban Johnson in 1906, which allowed Evans to jump from umpiring Class C ball all the way to the major leagues and become the youngest umpire in Major League history.
That's a really good story with a good cast of characters. Just a movie about Billy Evans from teenager to becoming an actual Major League umpire would be pretty great. You've got Cy Young, you've got Rube Waddell, you've got Ban Johnson, Connie Mack, and I mean the worst team of all time. You've got everything.
You know, this would be an awesome movie. And it wouldn't even have to be a Billy Evans story, just that little section of baseball.
You just have a little segue
to him, and it ends when he becomes like the youngest umpire in baseball history. Okay, screenwriters out there, look at this movie. It's got everything.
We have a movie.
It's an excellent idea.
We have it in a movie. Thank you.
Okay, but that was the beginning. The beginning of Evans' Hall of Fame umpiring career. Now, he was supposedly the guy that began the practice of running to a base where a play was to get a better look, because this was back when Major League games used only 2 umpires maxed and occasionally still just 1.
And apparently he never stopped writing.
He never did, and thank you for sidetracking me back to where I want to go. The article begins by covering a game less than 2 months in the past from when the article was published. A game between the Philadelphia Athletics and the New York Americans played September 12th.
Americans?
Highlanders, Americans, Yankees. Okay. Evans called them Americans in the article. Now, spitballer Ray Keating was pitching for New York, and Hall of Fame second base superstar hitter Eddie Collins comes up to bat in the first inning and strikes out. Collins is a .333 lifetime hitter who at this stage of his career strikes out around 30 times a season, but he swings and misses at 3 pitches by such big margins, he's pretty certain there's something funny going on.
Just a quick little shout out to Pat Foley, who used to say 333 left in the third.
All right.
Okay, if there's one person who would know, it's Eddie Collins.
It is Eddie Collins.
I mean, come on.
So when he comes up to bat again, he doesn't take the bat off his shoulder. He just stands there the whole at bat and watches Keating and watches the ball. He gets called out on strikes. And then he asks umpire Tom Connolly, also a Hall of Famer, who grew up in England and umpired the first ever American League game. But no, I'm not sidetracking here. Collins asks Connolly to examine the ball. Connolly does and finds a rough spot on it. Collins says, this is what's making the ball break so hard, and asks Connolly to examine Keating's glove, since he thinks Keating has something there that's making the rough spot. Connolly is surprised by the request, but he does, and finds a piece of emery paper, basically sandpaper, hidden there in the glove. After the game, Connolly sends Ban Johnson his findings, the paper and 2 scuffed balls. And Johnson says anyone caught using the emery ball would get a 30-day suspension and a $100 fine.
Okay.
At the time of the article, the ban is only in the American League, but before the 1915 season, the other 2 major leagues will do the same. Now, here is a quote from the article.
Okay.
By means of the roughened spot created by the emery paper, a pitcher is able to get all kinds of peculiar breaks on the ball. The roughened spot makes it possible for him to get a much firmer grip, thus making it possible to greatly increase the spinning of the ball through the air. Air resistance is largely responsible for the unusual shoots a ball may take. A revolving ball offers much more resistance to the air currents than a ball that acts otherwise. The roughened spot also affords greater resistance in the air. All these things combined make the emery ball a more feared delivery than the spitball.
Well, I mean, you did say it's the most devastating pitch ever.
Here's something interesting that I've never found in any other articles or books that mention the emery ball. Evans says that even with the ban, pitchers will still be able to throw balls similar to the emery ball without any outside manipulation.
Okay, hang on. Before we go into that, because that reminds me of something that happened in cricket just a couple of years ago.
Okay.
South Africa play Australia in a very heated test match in South Africa, right? After 30 overs, this cricket ball is reverse swinging. Not the normal swing, but reverse swinging.
Okay.
Right? And it's not supposed to do that after 30 overs.
Yeah.
Catches everybody by surprise, and the captain at that point, Faf du Plessis, is completely caught off guard by something that is supposed to not move that way when it's that old. Long story short, eventually one of the commentators noted, Jeremy Fredericks, and he actually went to the cameramen and said to them, I need you to have a look, because I think the Australians are tampering with this ball.
With the ball.
Lo and behold, they get caught. They're using sandpaper to scuff the ball.
So they're throwing emery balls.
100%. They were bowling emery balls. It was a massive scandal, and it is henceforth known as Sandpaper Gate.
Okay.
So this is not a new phenomenon, and it is never passed because still being done.
But this is, Russ Ford, who we'll get to, he actually was the first major leaguer to throw an emery ball. But Evans says that no less than Walter Johnson personally demonstrated to Evans before a game how the future might be, and that in the future, the emery ball might become the concrete ball.
Concrete ball?
Yeah, see, all the ballparks have concrete stands in 1914. Okay. And anytime the ball hits one, it gets a spot just like that from the emery paper. And they don't replace balls in games in 1914. Johnson takes a brand new ball and throws it hard against the right field wall at Shibe Park in Philadelphia, where this is taking place. Now, him and Evans look at the ball, and it's got a rough spot about the size of a quarter on it. Johnson then gets Washington catcher Eddie Ainsmith over and pitches to him with the ball. Before each pitch, Johnson tells Ainsmith which way the ball is going to break. But even so, Ainsmith has to do some fancy glove work to catch these pitches that just break all over the place.
Okay, but this is Walter Johnson pitching, like the greatest pitcher ever.
He has a very legitimate claim to that title, so yeah. And with his speed, so Evans writes that next year, 1915, it will undoubtedly be one of the umpire's duties to examine all the balls used and remove those with roughened spots made by whatever means from play.
I mean, that sounds like a great idea. Nobody in baseball wants to watch the whole league hitting like sub 150.
Yeah.
Let's be real. That'd be awful.
The incident with Eddie Collins was how the emery ball came to be revealed publicly. Okay. And sure, if everyone used it, averages would plummet. But hang on, because there's more to this article, right? It's a great article. Yeah. It says that none other than Smokey Joe Wood learned the emery ball in 1914 and used it late in the season.
1912 was Wood's massive, amazing season, correct?
Yeah, and he struggled with injuries and illness since then. Even though in 1915 he will lead the American League in ERA with 149. But it's only in 157 innings, and it is the end of his pitching career.
Okay.
In 1914, he pitched just 113 innings, going 10-3.
And learned the Emery ball.
According to Billy Evans, he did. Now, Wood went 34-5 in his magic 1912, but broke his pitching thumb mid-season 1913, and then when it was better next spring, was suddenly operated on for appendicitis.
That's a lot of hard luck for one dude.
Reports say that he had flashes of his old speed after that, but worked more on guile.
Okay, but that seemed to work, right? You said he led the league in ERA in 1915.
Yeah, well, in his final start, which he lost 3-1 to Walter Johnson, he was clinging to his arm with his other hand when he left the mound.
So an Emery ball might have made up for loss of speed then.
I'll tell you in just a minute. If Smokey Joe Wood had been allowed to throw an Emery ball, maybe it could make up for loss of speed.
Okay.
I think the problem, though, was more than just losing speed. I don't think Wood could throw his curve anymore without pain. Evans writes, and this is quoted again after Wood has learned the new pitch, Wood perfected the use of it, and in a game with St. Louis struck out 15 men. Bill Dineen, who umpired the plate in that game, is authority for the statement that Wood did not use a curve during the contest. Dineen marveled at the fact and said he never saw Wood have such an unusual break on his fastball, despite the fact that his speed was only ordinary. Wood's great work was made possible by the use of Emery paper.
And did you look to see if such a game exists?
You know I did.
Of course.
There was a game Wood pitched against St. Louis in late August 1914 in which he struck out 13 men, not 15, or perhaps Evans is right and Baseball Reference is wrong. The box score that they have says 13, but you see that Wood struck out every opposing player at least once.
This is a brilliant article.
It goes on.
Oh.
It next describes the pitfalls that a pitcher unfamiliar with how to hold and throw an Emery ball might face if he had to do so. Because Evans talks about a game that Wood was removed from and replaced by Hugh Bedient in the middle of the third inning for arguing a call, with the bases loaded. The first 3 pitches by Bedient were wild pitches, each scoring 1 run. The ball was then removed from play and replaced with a new ball, and Bedient settled down immediately. Yes, I looked up the game. It was played September 7th, and Bedient indeed had 3 wild pitches that game. He had a total of 5 for the season.
Amazing to think that you can't control it at all. I guess Wood didn't tell Bedient about the ball.
I know that's pretty obvious.
So you're gonna tell me more about how it was discovered and, I mean, who the greatest practitioners were of the so-called Emery board.
I am, but still not yet.
Witchcraft.
Okay. So the pitch was banned, and umpires did indeed begin removing scuffed balls from play. The voices for the banning of spitballs grew louder and louder.
But it still took a few more years for them to get completely banned, right?
Right. And Evans actually addresses the spitter in the article as well. Here's another quote.
Okay.
Quote machine, this article.
Yeah, that's
the
fantastic.
spitball is one of those newfangled discoveries that was never legislated against. Ever since it was discovered, it has been a much discussed style of pitching. It caused such a decline in hitting for a time, it was freely predicted it would be legislated out of the game. It was even declared unsanitary by medical authorities. Batsmen who suffered a severe shrinkage in their batting averages said even worse things about the moist delivery.
You're planning a Spitballers episode, right?
Oh, very much so. Now, I'm going to finish with Evans' article, Rob.
Okay.
I'm going to quote its final paragraph.
A lot of quotes today.
Really good article.
Where's this from again?
It's from the Dayton. It's from the Dayton Daily News, Sunday, November 8th, 1914. It is online.
Okay, did people get caught a lot after 1950 throwing Emery balls?
Not a lot, but it happens. Rick Honeycutt is the first guy I know for sure was caught doctoring baseballs. In 1980, he was caught with a thumbtack in his glove.
That's not very smart.
Thing is, Honeycutt said if he knew what he was doing, he wouldn't have got caught. Here's another quote from him. Okay, check it out. I only did it for 2 pitches. If you looked at the ball, it looked like somebody tried to put the mark of Zorro on it.
I can just see that. I mean,
Yeah. Well, he also said that the Royals got back-to-back singles on the 2 pitches that he did it with. He was fined $500, suspended for 10 days. Now, he said he did it because of his losing streak. I looked all this up, and the game in question was September 30th, 1980. And while his actual losing streaks, he had one of 8 games and one of 6, were over, his season had begun 7-2, and then went to 10-17. That's 3 wins and 15 losses since the start.
I can see why he might have been desperate.
He said he never practiced trying it out before that day, but before the game, he was warming up, and then he came to the dugout after warming up, and he took off his glove, and he wiped the sweat off his forehead, and he cut his head with the tack.
That is so amateur. Oh, my goodness.
Joe Niekro.
One of your heroes.
One of my childhood heroes. I loved watching him pitch. He was caught when he was with the Twins right near the very end of his career.
And what's that story?
On August 3rd, 1987, Niekro was ejected from a game when umpires found sandpaper and an Emery board in his pockets. Sports Illustrated has an article online about it from the 30th anniversary of the incident. And the video's on YouTube. Just look up Joe Niekro ejected from game. It's really funny.
How is it funny?
Because Joe Niekro tries to do some of the worst sleight of hand you have ever seen to get rid of the evidence. He's on national TV. The umpires are all around him, and he tries to sort of subtly toss the Emery board. I'll tell you what. I'm going to pause the recording so you can watch this. Okay? Here, come over here. What did I say? It was Joe Niekro ejected from game.
Yeah, the one with the Australian cricketers is pretty good as well. It's got the commentary and everything, and with the cameras in like 2018, 2019 when it happened, there's nowhere to hide.
This is unbelievable. Okay, watch the whole thing.
Okay.
Kelly Gruber got his 9th. Jeff Musselman was the winner. He's 10-4 coming out of the bullpen.
Hey, they can hear the sounds.
Yeah,
maybe I'll leave this in.
Yeah,
Who knows?
maybe, yeah. We might just have to talk over
Okay, that's Brian Downing. Okay,
Yeah, okay.
Look, now the umpire wants to go.
New York got beat. Cleveland 2, New York nothing. Tom
Here we go.
Candiotti threw a one-hitter.
You know what? It takes a little while before his sleight of hand.
Candiotti's no-hit bid was spoiled by Mike Easter's leadoff bloop single to center field in the 8th inning.
Great moustache.
Again, Candiotti struck out 5 and walked 1.
Yeah, look, see, asking us to look at his pockets. Now checking his glove. Checking his glove. Nothing in his glove. Checking his pockets.
You say you're either loading up the baseball or something, and Tom Kelly's really getting into it.
And he's trying everything to kind of like avoid them getting close to him.
Well,
Oh, this is bad.
Dave Phillips
Oh, there we go.
threw the baseball again.
There goes the hand.
To New York one time.
no, wait. So there, he's got that thing. Watch this, though.
I've never seen him.
Oh, he's just sort of searching. That's the worst. He tries to hide. He just throws it on the ground.
Yeah,
Hopes that nobody's going to see.
Crowd goes wild naturally.
Of course. Isn't that brilliant?
What a wry little smile on his face. He's like, damn it.
It's Joe Niekro. I love Joe
He's
Niekro.
like, damn it, they got me.
But,
The jig is up.
That might remain in the episode since we've got the sound.
Yeah,
on.
I mean, he tried to throw it on the ground on TV with 20,000 people watching.
He sure
You
did.
can hear them screaming in the crowd and everything. It's crazy.
Now, Niekro got a 10-day suspension for this, and he also made a bunch of excuses. He said, I'll be honest with you, I always carry 2 things out there with me, an Emery board and a small piece of sandpaper. I've done that ever since I started throwing the knuckleball. And, he said, being a knuckleball pitcher, I sometimes have to file my nails between innings. So I carry an Emery board with me to the mound. And when they said, and the sandpaper, he said, sometimes I sweat a lot and the Emery board gets wet. I use the other as a backup.
That's laughable. Those are the worst excuses ever.
Well,
Who takes a sandpaper to their fingers? Bro, are you out of your mind?
And bring both of them with
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
Well, Angels manager Gene Mauch said those balls weren't roughed up. They were mutilated. And also, nobody ever suspected Joe Niekro of scuffing the ball. Everybody always knew it.
The things people do to get an edge, to get advantage.
The things they do.
So now we're going back to the beginning of the story and tell us how the Emery ball first came to be.
I'm not, and I'm also not telling you the last paragraph of that article, which I said I was going to tell you. I'm actually going to wrap this up,
right.
and I'm going to tell you the tale in the next time.
Okay, this is a bit shorter than usual.
It is, but today is Friday, the day after Thanksgiving when we're recording this. And though we don't celebrate Thanksgiving in Sweden, my local bar did a Thanksgiving spread today and tomorrow, so I am meeting the missus there in not that many minutes.
That makes sense, and you're leaving everyone hungry for more Emery ball trivia?
Here, I'll tell you what. Here's a piece of trivia that's relevant to today's episode.
Okay.
It may say on Baseball Reference that Smokey Joe Wood's given name was Joe. He was apparently born Howard Ellsworth Wood.
How do you get Joe from Howard?
You don't. But the story is that when he was young, his family saw two circus clowns called Petey and Joey that they thought were fantastic. And his parents started, calling the two brothers Petey and Joey. And they began answering to Pete and Joe.
That's a great piece of trivia.
It is. Okay, everyone out there, follow us on Instagram or on Facebook, and please join Indy Neidell's Baseball History Time Machine on Patreon. Every dollar we can trick you out of helps us scare up the time to make these episodes.
I think you could have phrased that a little better.
Well, why lie to the good people out there who enjoy this majesty?
Why indeed? Well, take us home.
All right, that is it for today from me, Indy Neidell.
And me, Berns.
And the Baseball History Time Machine.
Happy Thanksgiving to all of you out there.
Sure.
Yeah.